Hi there, I'm Jen Bernstein, and I want to give you a little behind the scenes glimpse into my life as a professional editor and writer. Now, for the most part, I'm a fairly normal, healthy person, but when it comes to editing and writing, I am obsessive. I am obsessed with grammar, with punctuation, with syntax, and style. Now, I know a lot about these things in part because I'm a college English professor, but really knowing the rules isn't enough. High-level professional editing requires entering into a state of hyper alertness where you're sensitive to the smallest of details that most people overlook. And at the same time, it requires knowing when, where, and why it's okay to break certain rules. A lot of people ask me where this obsessiveness comes from, and obviously I don't have a definitive answer, but I think part of it comes from having grown up as a competitive figure skater and spending years, hours and hours and years trying to create the perfect circle on the ice. And I think that all that time and all that work made it possible for my mind to zoom in, to fixate, to assess, and to perfect. And I would get this incredible thrill and sense of satisfaction when I could get my circles as perfect as they possibly could get. And I get that same thrill, that same satisfaction when I'm editing, whether it's editing the contracted manuscript of a best-selling romance novelist, scrutinizing the manuscript of a monk to make sure that every single word that's transliterated from Sanskrit into English is perfect, or when I'm editing or tightening up the prose of scholars at top tier research institutions, or even when I'm editing the e-newsletters and emails of my clients to make sure that there are no typos in their work. It's the same underlying feeling that I get of satisfaction and thrill. But my meticulous attention to detail is really only one reason why people often hire me. In general, my clients tend to hire me because they want a certain editorial writing burden lifted off their shoulders. And they know that they can come to me to make sure that all the details are taken care of, that their prose is polished, but there's this deeper thing that they need taken care of. And whenever I start talking about this creative process and um, why people hire me to come in, I always think of this passage from William James's The Principles of Psychology. It's an amazing, groundbreaking work that was published in 1890. And in this chapter, called The Stream of Thought, James is talking about the creative process. In this stream of thought, just FYI, William James was really responsible for shaping our modern conception of what the stream of consciousness is. But this passage is a footnote, actually, where James is talking about Mozart's composing process. So first it starts with James's voice. He says, "First, bits and crumbs of the piece come and gradually join together in his mind. Then, the soul getting warm to the work, the thing grows more and more." And here are Mozart's own words. "And I spread it out broader and clearer, and at last it gets almost finished in my head, even when it is a long piece, so that I can see the whole of it at a single glance in my mind, as if it were a beautiful painting or a handsome human being, in which way I do not hear it in my imagination at all as a succession, the way it must come later, but all at once, as it were. It is a rare feast. All the inventing and making goes on in me as in a beautiful, strong dream. But the best of all is the hearing of it all at once." I always get a shiver from reading that passage because it's so true for so many people. We get this rush, this moment where it all sort of seems to come together. We have this incredible vision. We hear it all at once. But the hard part, the struggle for most people, is getting it from that moment of conception, of visual conception, of mental conception, even just a draft, to getting it perfect on the page to really make that writing convey that vision. And that's where I usually get hired to come into the rescue. And what I do basically is align myself with my client's mission, with their brand, with the underlying spirit of their company, and help them take that vision and make it a reality, a written reality. And it's an exhilarating process. It really is. It's exhilarating for my clients because I come in and lift this burden from their shoulders. But it's also exhilarating for me because I can offer this skill to people and I get a rush out of that perfection and out of that process of aligning myself. I find that very rewarding. It's time consuming and it is a labor of love. And that's why I'm pretty selective about the clients I take on for this particular type of work. But it's really exhilarating. It's a powerful rush. And I love it. That's the bottom line. I love this kind of work. So that's it for my little overview, behind the scenes glimpse into my life as a professional editor and writer. If you're curious, if you want to know more, if you want to see if we might be a good fit to work together, feel free to get in touch with me on my website, jenniferbbernstein.com. Take care. Bye.